I want you to challenge how hard you think life has to be. You see, when I was younger, I used to think that things had to be hard to achieve a certain result in life. I couldn't be further than the truth. And a little bit of history around me is that I've been coaching fitness for 7 years now, coaching sales for the last 2 to 3 years, and also now stepping into the personal development space, helping people overcome limiting beliefs, rewrite unconscious programs that they have to become the best version of themselves who is purely aligned with who they want to be. And a belief that I used to have was that things had to be hard. In fact, I used to make things harder intentionally just to say that I could, right? That unless it was done in the hardest way possible, then I couldn't actually go ahead and accept that level of success or what I thought success was in my life. In fact, if the opportunity to accomplish that result was done in a way that I thought was actually a bit of a handout and too easy, I wouldn't take it. I would go, no, it has to be actually harder if I am to do that, because if I can't do it the hard way, I'm not good enough. That was literally a belief that I had, and as I matured through life, I couldn't realize how far from the truth that is. Actually, why would you want to make it harder for yourself to create a reality that purely aligns with who you want to be? In fact, why wouldn't you want to create a belief system that says everything comes to me easily, money flows through me, success, relationships, happiness flows easily to me? Why wouldn't you want to set yourself up that way? Why? And the young version of me would say, well, because I want to know what I'm capable of, and I want to know that I can do things the hardest way possible. And that's fair. I think it's actually quite good to test your capacity in regards, but sometimes what I had found was that it started detrimenting my ability to actually accept what I thought success was in my life, accept good things that came to me, because underneath all of that, there was a layer of not thinking I was good enough to actually receive those things if it came easier. The narrative was that everything had to be hard. And when you have that kind of belief system, you have this unnecessary tendency to make things in life hard for no reason. And over time, I started developing this awareness and going, wait a second, why would I want to make this any harder than necessary? I know what I can do. I've pushed myself to extreme limits before, especially having a fitness background and, having a certain upbringing to where I was a very antisocial person. Money wasn't abundant in my life, seemingly. And also, I had really not been in a great shape. I was quite out of shape and insecure around how I had looked and how I felt and what my place was in the world. And over time, I just started recognizing, after pushing myself to certain limits, that it wasn't necessary for me to push the envelope so hard in certain areas before being able to accept that, hey, I just can have that reality. I can have more money, and it doesn't have to feel so hard for me to do it, just so I could say that I could make it in every circumstance. In fact, I started rewriting my belief system that money just came to me easily, that I can actually just be the best version of myself, and that I'm blessed enough to have that welcome into my life. And there's actually nothing wrong with that. In fact, I found it a lot more sustainable and a lot more of a fulfilling experience. And I only say this to say that, what area of your life do you have certain beliefs that maybe just don't really serve you that well? In my regard, it's great to know that I have a certain work ethic, and that's beautiful. And I actually think that it's valuable to know what you're capable of, and you can still push the envelope, but also not really have an unnecessary belief that I don't deserve something unless I'm working extremely hard to get it. In fact, I can work very hard and also be blessed to receive things easily. I can do both. I can understand my limits and also be someone who welcomes a great lifestyle and accepts it and thinks that I am worthy of doing so, even if it came easy, right? And it's just a very interesting way and perspective of living. And I've been in the personal development industry for a bit over 10 years. I'm almost 27 now, and I started the fitness journey when I was 15, and when I was 17, I was really learning more of a career, personal development, self-improvement kind of mindset. And yeah, I think I just had enough skin in the game, enough perspective of other people's views and mindsets to where I really just started to question what I had truly and initially believed in, because that mindset only brought me so far, and it only got me a certain amount of financial result. It only got me a certain amount of relationship result in my life. And it wasn't until I started questioning and started to rewrite my belief systems that I could then take it to another level and have more wealth in my life and have better relationships, and also just a better and more positive experience of the world. And the older you get, it does something interesting. And I know I'm not old, and people will say, well, you're still a baby. I get it. The older you get, the more you just start thinking, hey, if I'm already nearing 30 now, and that mindset only got me so far, you start thinking a bit differently, because you're like, well, I don't want to waste any more time. I actually just want to start living life the way that I want to. And you actually start questioning a lot of those beliefs initially that were adopted. And I only started questioning that when I had great people around me to be able to call out some blind spots and say, well, why do you think of it that way? I notice you're a bit angry, a bit salty, a bit resentful when you do your work, and it doesn't have to be that hard and grindy. And that was something I had to confront about myself. And I just wrapped up 2 masterclasses for people talking about certain beliefs and unconscious programs that sometimes we adopt in life and we're not aware of, that dictate our behaviors in different circumstances. And the only reason that we're not aware of it is because when potentially we were younger, our subconscious mind had adopted certain behaviors to cope with certain situations when we were younger, and we carried that behavioral system and that belief system into new moments in life where the context was just different, but our automatic subconscious program, so to speak, still utilized the old behavioral system in the new circumstance that might not have been relevant. For example, when I was younger, I used to really struggle with, let's say if I were to help people around the house, and whenever I tried to help, there would always be something pointed out like, hey, you didn't do that, that wasn't good enough, that blah, 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 blah. And I started developing a belief system that no matter what I tried, it wasn't good enough. So if I give and I'm not really getting any praise or any benefit from that, it's not helping them, it's not helping me, I may as well just be selfish. And when I was selfish, I started working out, making more money, getting more muscle, getting praise. My subconscious mind goes, hey, when you're selfish, you do better. And when you give, you actually you're not benefiting, right? And then what had happened was, without even recognizing, I go through life thinking that giving is a waste of time, and actually just isolating myself and working on myself was the best use of it. And now when I actually look at the world and I go, hey, wait a second, there is a universal law that there is an equal and opposite energy exchange. For example, when you give, you will receive it back in the same amount of energy exchange in whatever way that looks like. And when you take, there's going to be an equal and opposite reaction in some kind of way. There's an energetic exchange. If I put out positive energy, I'll also attract that much positive energy into my life, and vice versa. If I put out negative, I'll tend to attract negative. For example, someone who is looking for a fight typically finds one. There's an equal and opposite energy exchange happening. And when you think about that in the context of giving, if I'm giving from a place of abundance, if anything, I'm putting that positive energy out and attracting more of that into my life. But the subconscious program thinks that giving is bad. And then you bring that into future circumstances, and then I wondered why I struggled socially, I didn't have connection, and actually I did get some results being selfish, but not those exponential results that maybe you get when you are someone that people like to be around and offer opportunity to. And you start missing those things, those opportunities, because you don't recognize the behavioral pattern. At least I didn't. that was reinforcing a small scale improvement in my life, but missing the big picture scale. And obviously now, having the awareness of certain behavioral patterns that I had, I can, have a big enough perspective and sense of awareness to rewrite that narrative and actually learn to give from a full place and positive place to people, which has not only resulted in better relationships in my life, but also more financial abundance, because I am actually being valuable to people, and naturally by exchange, I'm getting paid more. It's a beautiful thing, and it doesn't have to be hard, right? The old belief system is completely being rewritten, and that takes awareness. And I personally could only get so far by myself until some people had to call me out. And then I could, as uncomfortable as it was, start confronting that. And that's the beautiful thing, is that you could do it yourself, but sometimes, again, why make it harder? Why not actually surround yourself with people and environments that are actually conducive to your best performance and level of increased awareness to be able to make more proactive decisions in your life? And something I mentioned in the call today, which was those early years is when you're most malleable in these subconscious programming and influences. And it's not that you can't change it, but you have to be so much more aware and proactive in regards to rewriting the narratives, the belief systems that you navigate life through. And that's the crazy thing, which is being aware enough and being around the right circle to where you can start calling those things out and being aware on a different level, so you can rewrite your behavioral patterns and then be able to create a reality that actually aligns with what you want, because you've also rewritten your subconscious narrative to almost put your belief systems and behavioral patterns on autopilot that are conducive more so of the reality that you want. And that is why for some people things seem very easy for them, right? To make a certain amount of money seems easy, to be in shape seems easy, is because their subconscious program is almost like on default and on automatic pilot to be able to be in shape or make a certain amount of money because it's been done so often. And whatever area of life that might feel hard for you and you don't know why, that's an opportunity to question what underlying belief system do you have and narrative at play that is dictating that feeling towards that circumstance. And if you can connect the dots to early memories in your life and see the patterns, then you can start being aware and start rewriting that behavioral system to be able to be more aligned with the person you need to be to also create the life that you want. So I'll leave it there. I don't want to overcomplicate it anymore, but now you can start thinking and start questioning. If you would like to go deeper, if you check the description in this video, I have newsletters that you can access in regards to mindset tips. Otherwise, you can just contact me on Instagram. You can shoot a comment below. My intention here is to deliver value for you. So don't hesitate to reach out. I hope this helps you, and pay attention. It pays to pay attention.